morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee and Cloud Native. My name is Adrian Goins. Today is Super Positive Wednesday. Every night, I and my army of bots scour the internet for news and content related to Kubernetes and Cloud Native, and every day you'll find me here to share the bits that I find interesting. It's a curated list of content. I go through around 200 submissions every night, and I select just a handful of them for the next day's show. The primary criteria is that these have to be tools that I would use, that I might use, that I'd like, that I think are beneficial to the community, and I'm just happy to share them with you because I don't have enough time to play with them all. If you're watching live anywhere, please click whatever button tells whatever algorithm that you like the show. And if you're watching in the future, well, do the same thing. Subscribe to the channel, follow me in all the places that you can follow me. Join the community site. There's links to all of this stuff, the live chat, everything in the video description. And if you are watching live and you're not in Discord, come hang out in Discord. We relay chat between YouTube and Twitch, but the real fun happens over there in Discord. In fact, let's just take a moment and say hello to people that we have in the chat. Close my checklist. How many people who watch the show are certificated private pilots? I know two, myself and WifeBot. But I'm sure that there's somebody else out there who has a pilot's license. Let me know. Because I was talking about checklists this morning. I have a checklist for the show, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't need to look at the checklist. And then I always check the checklist, and I'm like, oh, I totally forgot to do that. And I was laughing this morning where, as a pilot, you always take your checklist and like do your pre-flight checklist, and everything has a checklist because we forget things because we're humans and we're terrible at remembering. And yeah, so, well, that's my story. So, good morning. What do we got? We've got internet, sort of. It's kind of being a little wobbly, but it's not terrible, which is what it was yesterday. So we'll see if that. I'm watching it go down. We'll see how it does. So, good morning, Duck. Good morning, Shipwreck. Ian, Bala, hello, Peter, WifeBot, Nuno, nice gif. Duck. Who else we got? Tribble, hey, good morning. Wow, bright and early for you. Devin, hello from YouTube. Oh, Jaco? Jacko? Jocko? Hako? Yako? I'm going to go with Jaco. Sorry if I got it wrong. Stack Clash, hey, wow, hello. Caught all the things, nice. Ooh. I'm going to dial down the bandwidth just a little bit here and see if that makes things a little bit happier. Let's go to 4. Apply. Okay. All right, so, oh, man. All right, good morning, Mr. Smalls. Let's get started. Let's make that window bigger. Let's put that on the checklist for the future. How many of you know this guy? Well, raise my left hand. Right, Kelsey Hightower. How many of you know anything about him? Yaku? Yaku? Oh, okay. Cool. Hello, Yaku. You're gonna have to hold on for a second. What the? Oh, man. Okay, so we have Chilean workers here right now, and they are refusing to work because I criticized the quality of the work that they were doing. I'm telling them to wait until after 10 because I'm in a whoops, did I say that? I'm in a live stream. Okay, so we'll continue to ignore that. You might hear my phone beep and stuff, but whatever. So anyway, Kelsey Hightower, if you've ever seen him on a podcast, if you've ever met him, if you've ever talked to him, if you've ever seen him give a presentation, hands down, he's like the nicest guy, and everybody always learns something from him. He has this zen calm about him that I really wish I could have, but I get really wound up about stuff, as you just saw. But I knew nothing about him. This is an article that tells you about his origins, and he has a very humble beginning where he started out and he just worked really hard and he saw opportunity and he took opportunities and he took chances and he explored things and he invested time and energy. But it also exposes some of the areas where he was unsure about stuff. where it's a really interesting article. It's not normally the kind of thing that I would put on the show, but if you haven't read it already, you can probably find it. The link will be in the video description afterwards or on the community site. It gives a really nice grounding effect to it really nicely rounds out who he is, and it made me like him even more. I'm a little bit intimidated by him. I know he's been on Pop's podcast, and like he's totally approachable, but like the thought, it's like what was it, Wayne's World? Like, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. I would very much like to meet him, and I think we're fortunate to have him in the community that we're all a part of. Not the CNCN community, but just the larger Kubernetes cloud native community, because we can all learn from him in so many different ways. So that's a cool article. I wanted to throw that out there. This popped up yesterday. We had a few weeks ago, I talked about the early access to the Traffic training course, and hang on a second. Excuse me. I'm telling WifeBot that she doesn't have to go harass the workers. So it was beta at the time, and it's now been released, and here's an article about what it includes, which is wonderful. This is created by a third party. What's his name? Brian Christner, Docker Captain, Traffic Ambassador. He created it, but it is endorsed by Traffic. In fact, this is off of Traffic's blog. So you got 5 hours of course material, hands-on labs, bunch of other stuff. But what do you get? You get all the information about how to configure Traffic and how to actually use it, and learning about how it approaches its functionality. It's a little bit different than what you might have encountered in. It's more than just an ingress controller. It's more than just a reverse proxy. So having a course that explains how it operates and how all the middlewares function, I think is extremely valuable. And I would like to make this one of the items that we could choose to have as the giveaway this month. But I wanted to know if this would be interesting. I normally give away Kubernetes courses. I haven't done the poll yet. I reached out to them. Lisa? Please wait. I don't actually know if I just muted myself or not. If not, I'll edit that part out. Oh, people. People who aspire to mediocrity are my favorite kind of people. Anyway, I haven't put a poll up for life, right? I don't like when life interferes with the things that I'm trying to do. I haven't put a poll up for what we're going to give away this month. There's not really enough time, so probably this Friday we're still going to give away Brett Fisher's course. But if I'll put a poll up, and if this is something that you would like to have in the list, nice Nuno, then you can vote for it. Moving on. Okay, we didn't get to cover this yesterday. As you know, people are tweeting with the hashtag Docker Apocalypse, and poor Docker. Docker just wants to do the right thing. Like they've given away so much for free for so long. They were never able to monetize, but everybody who came after them has built stuff on top of their solutions and made tons and tons and tons of money from it. And Docker, they just want to get paid. They don't even want to get paid a lot, but they're trying to monetize the services that they have. And people are bashing on them for it, myself included. Not because what they're doing is wrong, but the way that they're doing it is just, dare I say, abrasive? Am I allowed to call anybody else abrasive? I mean, I'm pretty abrasive. So I made a joke last night in Discord that maybe somebody should introduce canary testing to Docker so that they can try their policy changes on a small subset of people and find out, wow, where'd my mouse go? Whoa, my whole computer just froze. Holy cow. What? Okay, I still see that I have audio. I have no idea if any of you can see me. like literally everything just froze. This is I'm gonna load Discord on my phone, and see if anybody is still here. Uh, uh, uh. Oh, you can hear me, but crap. Okay, that's funny. You can hear me, but you can't see me. Okay, so I'm. I don't know what's about to happen. I'm gonna try and yeah, I think I'm gonna have to actually reboot my computer. Literally 100% of everything froze. Okay, so since you can still hear me, if you're watching on Twitch, hang out. If you're watching on YouTube, hang out. But probably I'm gonna be gone for long enough that YouTube's gonna end the stream, in which case it's gonna pop back up as just a new default live stream. If you go to the main part of the channel, which you can get to from adrian.goins.tv, or whatever, you're watching it live on YouTube, you can find it. You'll see the stream pop back up there. Um, yeah, because my whole computer just totally locked up. In fact, yeah, it's totally done. So we'll be back after these messages. Man, this is just too damn funny. Hello. Man. Okay. Am I back? I think I'm back. Maybe I'm back. I can't actually tell. Yeah, okay, so I'm back over there. Yep. Yay. Internet quality, it says, is crap. Okay. Let's see. Change program bitrate. Let's change you back down to 4. So what did I say today was? Today was Super Positive Wednesday. And that's what it's going to be. Super positive. Well, I can at least guarantee that it's going to be Wednesday. Hang on, I got to get a browser up now. My apologies, I don't know what happened there, but thank you all for hanging out. And I'm just going to keep doing the show, because whatever. If you have to drop off, I understand. That's cool. You can catch the replay. But I'm going to keep doing the show, because I'm not going to let anything interfere with my mojo today. I got to figure out what I'm doing here. Set source browser thing. How's that work? Does that work? Hey, look at that. We're back. Okay. Super duper. Let's get my chat window up. Show them what's going on. Susa Dev Zone. Wow, welcome to the stream. Thanks. Normally it doesn't go like this, but we're having an interesting day. I think everything today is going to be interesting. What's my internet quality? Whatever, I don't care. I don't care. I'm recording it locally, so I am recording locally, right? Yes, I'm recording it locally. Yeah, so whatever. We're just going to figure it all out afterwards. Did I lose my mouse? I think we're almost ready to continue with what we were doing. Docker, hooray, yay. Okay, so what do we got here? Docker came back and they said, I'm going to start this over. How's that? This happened a couple of days ago. And I actually said in Discord last night that maybe somebody should introduce Docker to the concept of canary testing their management strategies. And it's not Docker's fault. Like, Docker just really wants to get paid for the work that they're doing. And they've done so much for all of us that even though the Twitter hashtag is Docker Apocalypse and they're easy to bash on, like, look, when they sold all of their intellectual property to Mirantis, they said that they wanted to retreat back to their core, which was to build great tools for developers. They still need to figure out how to monetize. Like, they need to figure out how to monetize. So they've got this whole monetization and pull rate limiting and so on and so forth. And we've talked about this. Everybody knows what's going on here. Well, they came back and they said that they have created a program for open source projects to get continued free access and freedom from restrictions for their communities and their users. I think this is fantastic. This means that a project like Rancher or any other open source thing that's out there that passes their criteria will be able create explicit links to their Docker Hub repos with no wrapping or hiding sources of their images. Okay. But document that Docker Engine or Docker Desktop are required to run their whitelisted images and give Docker full attribution. Those last 2 points are a little bit, I don't know. Like, does this mean that K3S, which uses Containerd, would result in all of Rancher's stuff not being whitelisted? Like, it seems a little bit, I don't know, wrong. I don't know what the word is. But continuing conversation in the chat yesterday said that they might have actually decided to step back off of this after Backlash, which is why I think that they should perhaps canary test their stuff. Oh my gosh, the internet picture over here is green. That's exciting. Can I drag that over here? No, I can't. That's too bad. Not gonna let it stop me. So Docker's still trying to figure it out, and good Lord, I hope that they do. Super duper super duper exciting is that Talos has solved a chicken and egg problem that they were talking with me about, and I had no solutions for them. There's a chicken and egg problem with Talos. Talos is a super secure, immutable operating system, and so when you boot a Talos system, it has to be fed a configuration file that tells it how to live, and then that's it. You're done. So how do you boot from an ISO? Like, how do you feed it that information so that it boots up and it knows what it's supposed to do? For some environments, that's fine because they have like the whole initRD image and stuff like that. But for anything where you would boot a virtualization system from, say, an ISO, for example, Proxmox, that was a problem. We talked about cloud init, we talked about various things, and they figured out a solution that's awesome. They released this yesterday. This is a 9-minute video that shows how to get Talos running on Proxmox, but it would apply to anywhere else. And the way that they've solved this is the ISO boots and then it pauses and it waits in a maintenance mode for instructions. It opens up a port and it listens. And then it tells you in the boot sequence in the console output, hey, I'm listening over here. And then you take the config that you generate from TalosCTL and you push it into the cluster. And now you can boot things without having an entire Pixie environment and a whole bunch of other infrastructure that you might have in a bare metal universe. Super duper duper super excited for this because now I can run Talos locally without having to go buy $5,000 worth of equipment and try and ship it into Chile. Okay, we got green internet. That's exciting. Here's a neat and interesting article. U.S. News and World Report has an education section. And in their education section, they have ads for courses from Udemy or from Udacity or from other places. I'm guessing somehow they get paid for that. But it's interesting. I wouldn't think of U.S. News and World Report as an educational portal for things, but they have this article that came out last week talking about how to become a full stack developer and why you might want to do so. Probably 0% of you watching this show will learn anything from this article. However, let me jump back over to the live chat here. However, if you know anybody who is getting started and is on the development side of things and wants, wants some stuff, this is a good article with some good actionable information. It quotes a guy who works with me at Rancher, which is pretty cool, Mikhail. I don't know if he watches the show, but hello. And then it gives links to, whatever, even if they get paid for it, that's fine. It gives links to courses, and then it talks about the various stages of becoming a full stack developer, starting with databases, going into backend services, various language styles, server-side front-end, client-side front-end, and then possibly even adding in some UX, because that's important right now. And then, an idea of the time and career path stuff. I think it's a really nice article. If you have anybody, like I'll send this to my mom and I'll be like, hey mom, you want to become a full stack developer? And she'll be like, no. But if she did, this would be a great place to start. And I'll take this opportunity to say that there's something coming from Udacity. If you don't want to pursue full stack developer, but you're maybe a little bit further along and you're interested in a Udacity nano degree for building cloud native applications and microservices and all of the bits and pieces and from container orchestration back to things like Kafka and messaging and interprocess communication and stuff like that. Keep an eye on Udacity because there's a new nano degree coming. And as part of that, there will be some scholarships from another organization whose name I can't say yet. But as soon as I'm able to, I'll tell you more about that on the show. And it's possible that you could get a scholarship to get a complete nano degree from Udacity for microservices applications. So stay tuned. Yeah, Ian, my mom might consider being a full stack developer once she finishes building her service mesh. That's absolutely true. Our very own Steve Jaguar has an article published on StackRox. He recently joined the StackRox team, and he came over from Aqua and wrote an article that they published on their blog about why he joined StackRox and what he likes about them, what he likes about their vision, how they took a chance on talking about proceduralized security inside of Kubernetes back before people even really knew what Kubernetes was. Like, remember Kubernetes 1.7? We thought it was so amazing, and now we're like, oh my gosh, it was like, sticks and rocks for clustering. So this is a cool article. It's a nice little introduction to StackRox, and I mean, heck, Steve's part of the community, so I wanted to throw that out there as well. We'll have a link to that in the video description. A juggling act of Cirque du Soleil proportions? That's... that's... You ever been to a Cirque du Soleil show? Woo! Alex Ellis published a blog on Rancher about setting up K3s for HA on DigitalOcean. Last week, I was considering how to move off of DigitalOcean's Kubernetes service onto just my own droplets and then run my own K3s cluster. And I was looking at doing that with HA, and then I was looking at what it costs to actually run a database as the data store on the back end, or a multi-node etcd thing. And I ended up going down this rabbit hole of yak shaving before finally realizing it was 10:30 at night and I should just go to bed. Well, Alex wrote a whole blog on how to do it. And if you are interested in HA-K3s, specifically in DigitalOcean, I mean, the information that's here applies to any type of HA environment. But if you're in DO and you want to know how to set up, the load balancer, the backend service, like they have these things as managed services. So you can get a managed database instance. You can, of course, get the load balancer from them as well. And then how to set up an HA control plane and then the workers for a K3s cluster using the doctl command line, as well as kubectl and ketchup. And it's literally like step-by-step walk through every single thing. At the end of this, you'll have an HA Kubernetes cluster. The only additional... Oh, look at that. The internet went away, and it's coming back again. That's so lovely. You know what? I think I'm going to take that internet screen, and I'm going to put it right here, so that it's a little more obvious when the internet goes... Bleh. We don't care today. The internet can collapse. We don't care. The show must go on. When looking at DigitalOcean's managed database pricing, it is targeted for actually running high availability data stores for your application, and the base price is for a droplet size that's probably larger than what you need for just an entry-level K3s cluster. So if you're considering, you can't see my mouse, but if you're considering doing this, consider, rather than using DigitalOcean's managed Kubernetes or managed database service, you could just run a droplet, like a little $5 mini droplet or whatever, $10 droplet, and run MySQL on that. You could also run 2 of those and get your HA going on, but then you're in a little bit more world of complexity, and maybe you don't want to manage that. But at the very least, you could run one of those and then just make sure that you make your backups. The end. The internet is orange now. Can I show this? I don't know if I can show this. Does the cord reach long enough? I'll turn it sideways. It doesn't quite reach. Wait, does it reach now? Yeah, that's the graph that I look at. Look at that, orange. Sometimes it's green. Really disappointed. Okay, this is today. This actually starts at 2 p.m. my time, so they say it's at 1700 GMT. Yeah, 1700 GMT. And it's going to be hosted on Zoom. This is totally sold out, but there's a waiting list. It froze for a second when Adrian did that. Yeah. If you join the wait list, they only can have 100 people in it. They have like 120 registrants, but they ask people to RSVP and make sure, like, if you can't make it, please cancel your registration so that other people can join. This has Chris Irwin, who's the director of field engineering for Rancher Labs, and it's got, I don't actually know who Chris Stevenson is, but he's from Humanitech, so hi, Chris. And it's got 2 people from MSB, which is Magic Sandbox. They have really cool tech for teaching you how to do stuff with Kubernetes. They're not going to be using, this isn't a Kubernetes intro, this is talking about the organizational benefits of Kubernetes and how to pitch Kubernetes to your organization if you're somebody who uses it, but you're in an organization that doesn't currently have it deployed everywhere, and you want to try and sell it upstream to management or other people who make decisions. We as engineers tend to be very bad at selling things. Like, we care about Kubernetes and the value it provides in a very specific way that might not be the same way that decision makers who aren't technical will care about it. So this will give you information and strategies about how to sell this stuff upstream. I recommend you go get on the waiting list. If a slot is available, join it, and if not, watch it afterwards, because there's going to be a lot of good, actionable information in there. We have 2 more things. We have 1 more thing and then the tool of the day. We have Red Internet. We don't care. We don't care. You can do whatever you want, Internet. You're not going to bring me down. This. When I had, gosh, I think it was Scholastic as a client, and we'd have to, I actually was their eScholastic division, but we'd have to work with their internal IT department to make firewall rule changes. And there was a guy that worked there that he couldn't say firewall. He said firewall. So he would be like, the firewall. We got to change. I don't know what the rest of his accent was. The only thing I remember is like firewall. So I saw Firewalla and I'm like, Firewalla. Tribble tossed this over the fence yesterday and asked if I had seen it or heard of it, and I said no, and I went and looked at it. And initially I was like, oh, good Lord, stay away from this. But then I looked at their hardware and I'm like, okay, so it's a Kickstarter or Indiegogo thing, and their entire application is actually open source. So I think what they're actually building is the hardware. There's a little bit of hand waviness here, like their multi-gigabit cybersecurity protection device. I doubt those are multi-gigabit copper ports there. So multi-gigabit in the sense that you can have multiple gigabit links connected. But okay, whatever. Markety fluffiness. Getting past the hardware, they have an app that actually I think makes... So the problem with security stuff is you've got 2 sides of the fence. You've got people like me, where I'm like doing QoS and diff-serve code point packet inspection prioritization and stuff that like my mom's never going to do. And then you got on my mom's side where like she just wants to plug something in and not really have to worry about it. And there hasn't been much in between that doesn't require a lot of education that scares the bejesus out of people who aren't in this sector. They look like they have done a good job of bridging that ground. So not even like the Google kind of Amazon-y thing. This is an independent company that... No, the internet's still orange. This is an independent company, but they've got this app for your phone where you can set up VPN servers, you can set up ad blocking, you can block all social networking for an hour, you can... set up parental control stuff. You can, it'll send alerts for when applications start using large amounts of bandwidth. It'll do, let's see if we can, they have a regular features page, product solutions, Firewalla. There we go. Multiple firewalls in the same app. Yeah, so they have another page that like talks about all of the various things that they can do, showing like bandwidth usage, comparison with like, if you're Comcast, if you have rate limiting, it'll give you an alert before you're at 90%, dynamic DNS, alarm management, DNS over HTTPS, pretty cool. I can say nothing about their hardware, but looking at it, I actually spent some time going through Google Images to try and see if they OEM'd this from some place in China or whatever. But there are lots of fanless edge devices that you could use for running this, because their entire thing is Firewalla on GitHub. Oh, Carolux says she likes Firewalla. Huh, do you actually use it, Carolina? So yeah, so here you go, open sourciness. So you could pull this down and you could skip to a different page. So you could pull this down. You could even run it on an RPi, although apparently this image is out of date. You can build it yourself. You can build it on Docker. So there's lots of places, and then you could, theoretically, I haven't tested this, but probably you can just point the app at it. I don't know why they would do this, but maybe it's because their target market is actually people like my mom who aren't going to do this, and so making it open source allows people like us to run it and say, yeah, actually this is pretty cool. Tribble. Oh, did the oh yeah, totally. Okay, hang on. Ian says the Twitch Discord restream thingy. Oh, the word firewalla in Spanish is like a girl firewall. Oh, that's really cute. Okay, hang on a second. We're at the end of the show, but you know what? Nothing is going to stop us today. Nothing. That might connect. Yay, it's reconnecting. Chatbot back online. Thank you, Ian. Okay. So I'm guessing that their target market is where was I? Their target market is people who would actually buy the solution, not people like us who would use it. But if we use it, then we can recommend it. Ah, yes. Tribble pointed out that there aren't a lot of solutions, if there's any at all, like OpenSense or pfSense that run on Linux. So this might be, if the software solution is good enough, this might be a way to run a reasonably functional firewall service on Ubuntu or something like that. If any of you use it, please come to the community site, let us know, tell us in the chat, something like that. I'm running pfSense, so I'm not going to use it, but I would like to know if it passes the tech thumbs up. And now we are on to the tool of the day. Tool of the day. Whoops, I don't want to show you that. I want to show you this. Kubernetes. I stumbled into this yesterday. One of the criteria for things going on the show is that it can't directly compete with any of Rancher's revenue-generating products. So that's why you don't see me talking about things that are dashboardy in nature. They go through a much more intense screening process. And I screened this last night, and it is, in my opinion, non-competitive. There are a lot of things that Rancher does that this doesn't do, but there are things that this does that Rancher doesn't do. This is a tool that you can run externally, but it's designed to be run inside of your Kubernetes cluster, and it creates a dashboard. The primary thing that it does, well, the first thing that it does, is it collects all resources related to an application into a single view that you can expand and collapse. So right away, you get your containers, your services, your ingresses, your config maps, your persistent volumes, your everything is brought into this one view. Then you can drill down into them, and it starts to tell you things like, oh, configuration errors. So for example, misuse of labels, missing ports, the red circle, you can't see my mouse. The red circle means that there's a configuration error there. You can create validation rules that you can use for popping up alerts, or also for tagging things with all of these icons. They have all of these icons. So like raw configs gets a slab of meat, namespaces, but they've got this whole palette of icons that you can choose to assign to things so that you can very quickly visually classify what they are, including classifying things. So you see here on the left, can you see that? Kind of. Oh, hey, look at that. Something else loaded. So the little pieces themselves will get like this little spy icon. Where'd that go? Can I open that as its own image? I can. There we go. So we'll get like this little spy icon, which means that this is a resource that has access to view other things. But it'll flag things like things that have too many privileges, things that match whatever other rules you want. You can drill down into everything on the right-hand side there. I'll show you a demo of it in a second. This feature caught my attention. Periodically, my DigitalOcean cluster just blows up. And by the time I realize it, it's already blown up. And I don't know why. This will store data in a local MySQL instance, and you can play back what the state of things was previously in time. So you can just scroll back, you can look at things. They call it their time machine, and it'll help you track down sources of problems. Overprivileged workloads get a radioactive signal. You can predict, correlated RBAC, that's nice. And they have this blast radius thing as well, where you can figure out, so full text search. So the blast radius will show you shared configurations and dependent objects. So it'll show you where a config map might be used in other resources so that you know if you change it here, it's going to have an effect in other places. They have a demo up at demo.kubernetes.io that you can go and play with. I really like their UX. You can come across, you can drill down into stuff, and you can just see marker, fat namespace, high consumption namespace, spy, radioactive. It's got some alerts and a bunch of other stuff, but let's just pick, this is Calico, that's kube system. Let's pick kubevs MySQL. So over here on the left, it starts to give me more information about things. Where do I get the application kubevs UI? I wanted to show you, there we go. kubevs UI, service account, service node port, ingress, config. Yeah, so you can, right here, you can get, whatever the configuration is that you want. None of this is editable, so it's viewable, and I don't know much about its permission structure, about how it can be locked down, or if it's just wide open. But I thought it was very neat. I thought that for a small environment, being able to group all of the components together is really smart. I like the UI, I like the alerts, I like the timeline, I like the playback stuff. So I made it the tool of the day. There you go. Hi, my name is Adrian. I have an outro over here on my phone that I will now place up here so that I can read it. If you are still watching the show, thank you so much. And today was one of those days, but I'm not going to let this frame my day. This is, you got good days, you got bad weeks, you got whatevers. If you're watching this in the future, you have no idea what I'm talking about because you're watching a perfectly edited replay. So if you like what you saw today, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch to get notifications, follow me on Twitter, join the community site. There's Discord, there's places. We are a community of people all trying to learn and help each other succeed. Links to what I talk about on the show go up in the free community site at community.cncn.io. After the show ends, community members get access to the links in the video replay a day before the rest of the internet, and membership is free. Free! So come join. If you have something that you would like for me to consider for the show, please hit me up and let me know. You can mention me in a post in the community. You can ping me on Discord or Twitter. A lot of you are sending stuff my way, and I really appreciate it because it really helps shorten the number of hours that I have to spend every night to put together the next day's show. If the internet continues to be useless, then I'm going to start pre-recording these shows and streaming them, uploading them to Restream, and then streaming them live at the same time. And then I'll just join the live chat and we can chat about the show. I'm not going to stop doing the show. I don't care if they reduce my bandwidth to dial up. I'm going to keep doing this show because this is important. And I want to make sure all of you, well, I just want to continue. I'm going to start crying. I just want to keep doing the show. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for staying. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next show.